ज्ञानतिवृन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तन्वयादितरतः चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, chapter 9, verse number 60. So we read how Dhruva Maharaj, after he had the darshan of the Lord, then he returned back to his father's kingdom and he was received with great pomp and show. And there is a whole description of his reception, how the whole city came to receive him and everybody was very happy. And it was also shown that how Dhruva was very modest and humble because he paid respect to his stepmother, although she had insulted him for no reason. So now the rest of the verses in this chapter describe how he lived in the palace. Mahamani vratamaye satasmin bhavanottame lalito nitaram pitra navishabdivi devavat. Says that he lived in that best of the palace, which was studded with various types of gems, and being nourished, fondled and loved by his father, he passed his time like a deva, because everybody gave their attention and affection to him, although he was just a boy. Payafena nibhashaya danta rukma parichada asanani maharhani yatra rokma paskaraha. And his bed was covered with nice white sheets which were white like the foam, and the bed was made from the ivory, and there were nice curtains with golden work and beautiful asanas to sit, chairs, sofas, revolving chairs, so that he could relax, and so many different types of things made of gold. Yatra sphataki kuddeshu mahamarkateshu cha mani pradipa bhanti lalana ratna sanhita. And the walls were made of spatak and mahamarkat. What is that? Green emerald. And there were very nice lamps, which was also made from gems. And there were very beautiful women serving around. Udyananai cha ramyani vichitrairamaradrumaihi kuhaja vihada vihangama mithunair gayan mattamadhubrataihi. There were very beautiful gardens around the palace, having very wonderful trees full of fruits and flowers. And there were birds sitting on these trees, singing, chirping, and honeybees which were humming, intoxicated with the honey. Vapyo Vedurya Sopanaha Padmotpala Kumudvatihi Hansakarandava Kulair Justa Chakraha Varasarasaihi. And there were very beautiful lakes and swimming pools having nice steps made from Vedurya and very beautiful lotus flowers in those lakes, and also kumut. And there were nice swans, ducks, and saras, cranes, and chakravak, all these various types of water birds, fowls, which were in these lakes playing around. So this was the opulence of the palace. Uttanapado Rajarshi Prabhavam Tanayasya Tam Sutva Drishtva Adbhutatamam Prapede Vismayam Param. And even Uttanapad, when he saw and heard about the influence of his son, then he was very much surprised, because he also did not imagine how powerful is Dhruva. So he has heard it from Narada when Narada was there, but now he was seeing it personally. So he was full of wonder. Vikshya udhavayasam tam cha prakritinam cha sammatam anurakta prajan raja dhruvam chakre bhuvapatim. So when he saw that his son has become youthful, and he also realized that the residents of the city, they all are very affectionate towards his son Dhruva, then he installed him as king. Because he also realized that now it is time for him to leave. So he left for the forest. He retired. As was the custom in the olden days. So usually when somebody is king, they don't want to give up their post. You see this, so much revolution. These people are there for 35, 40 years, always Gaddafi. And the sons become young, they also want to taste the power. And the father does not want to leave. So many times they kill their own parents or brothers. So in India, there was no need for that, because the king will retire and go to the forest and give the kingdom to the son, and Uttanapad did. So he made Dhruva as the king and he left for the forest, became renounced. And they will give up everything, so there was no possibility that he can now go somewhere and again think of coming back and get in position. They mistake to the Vanaprastha life. So this is the end of 4th chapter, which described how Dhruva, he performed his austerities and then Lord appeared to him, and how he prayed to the Lord and got the boon from him. Then Lord left and he came back to his kingdom. He was received very nicely by everyone. So now there was no more enmity between him and his brother or stepmother. And his father was so much in love with him. And because he was very much devoted to his own son, he also developed this passion to kingdom. So he left. So now 10th chapter will describe Dhruva's life afterwards. Maitreya Uvacha, Maitreya said, Prajapater duhitaram sisumarasya vai dhruvaha upaye me bhramim nama tatsutau kalpavatsarau. So it seems that Dhruva was not married when he became king. Because it says that he married the daughter of Sisumar Prajapati, whose name was Brahmi, and he had 2 sons from her, Kalpa and Vatsara. So looks like that father left before the son was married, which is very unusual in India. Parents here in India are very keen to marry their sons. This is one of their pleasures. And unless they marry their children, they feel like their life is incomplete. So they feel very much responsible for marrying the daughter. And if son wants to take sannyas, then they will try all their logic to stop him. If sannyasi comes to the house, then they will worship him. But if their own son wants to take sannyas, then they will be very upset. So this is the hypocrisy. If they give so much respect to the sannyasi, they should be happy if their own son is becoming a sannyasi. Right? If they consider that sannyasi is a great position, then they should feel proud that their own son is becoming a sannyasi. But every Indian father and mother will try that the son should not become a sannyasi. Right, Prem Nidhi? Except for Prem Nidhi. He will preach to his son to become a sannyasi. So it is very unusual that Uttanpad, he left without marrying Dhruva. And then Dhruva has to find wife for himself. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, he says that Dhruvar bhatur vadham yakshaihi srutva gatvalakam purim yakshan yuddhe jaghaneti dasme kathyate katha. Says that in this 10th chapter, there is a description how Dhruva's brother, he was killed by yakshas. Yakshas were a type of people who were living in the Himalayas. And when Dhruva came to know about this, he went to Alkapuri, the city of Kubera, because these yakshas are the associates of Kubera. and he had a very big fight with them and killed many of them. So this story will be described here. इलायामपि भार्यायां वायोः पुत्र्यां महाबलः पुत्रम् उत्कलानामानं योषितरत्नम् अजीजनत्. So Dhruva also had another wife whose name was Ila, and she was the daughter of Vayu. And he got 2 children from the other wife, Ila. One boy whose name was Utkala, and one daughter, very beautiful daughter. The name is not given. So therefore he had 3 sons and one daughter. Kalpavatsala from one wife whose name was Brahmi. This is more like astrological description, because Dhruva is a pole star and Brahmi means rotation, and Kalpa is the day of Brahma and Vatsala is the year. So these all come from the rotation, right?
Vatsala is the
1 year is called Vatsala. So Kalpa, Vatsala, these time divisions, they happen because of the rotation of planets. So Dhruva is fixed and wife is rotating. And what is the outcome is time. Time babies. And the other one was normal wife, or maybe not, daughter of Vayu also, wind god. And the son was Utkala. So Utkala is also area, Odisha, part of Odisha is called Utkala. Actually, Odisha is called Utkala. So there is no commentary on these verses. Uttamastwakrit udvaho mrigyayam baliyasa atah punyajanena dravu tanmatasya gatim gata. And Uttama, his stepbrother, he was not married yet. So he went for hunting in the forest and he got hunted himself by the Punyajanas, Yakshas. Yakshas is also called Punyajana. So on the mountain he got killed, and then his mother, she also went to search for the son and she also got killed. So both went out of the earth planet wherever they went. So the only Dhruva remained. Adrau Himvati, the mountain here is the Himalayas. Ajau iti pathe tai sahayuddhe. In some place the word Ajau is there instead of Adrau. So that means that he had a fight with them. Asya gatim putram anvishyanti davanalan mrityum. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that how did the mother die? When she heard that the son has been killed, she went to search for him. Or maybe the son did not come back. So when she went to search for the son, then there was a forest fire and she got burned in that. So that's how these 2 people died. Earlier it was described in the commentary that because these 2 were offensive to Dhruva, so this is the now outcome of their offense. And both got killed. So Dhruva was very angry when he heard about this. So he went to take revenge. Gatvo dichim disham raja rudranuchara vitam dadarshahim vadronyam puringuyak sankulam. So the king, he went to the north direction the place which is occupied by the servants of Lord Shiva. And there he saw this city which was full of these Guhyakas. All these Guhyakas, Punyajana, Yaksha, these are all associates. So in this mountain, Himalaya, this is what he saw. Dadamau Shankham Brihad Bahu Kham Disasyanunadayan Yenudvishak Shakta Rupdevyo Atrasam Drisam. So he went there, and he, who had very long arms, blew his conch, which resonated in all the directions. That's a mountain area. And this was very disturbing to these people. So the wives of the Guhyakas, these Yakshas, they became full of fear that now some trouble is coming. They must have heard the news that these Yakshas have killed Dhruva's brother, and Dhruva was famous. So now when he came and blew the conch, they were very fearful. Tato niskramya balina upadeva mahabhataha asahantastam ninadam abhipeturudayudha. So then these Upadevas, they are lower than the Devas because they are not very high in the sky, they are only in the mountains. So they are little bit Deva. They are just above the ground. There are various types of aliens, and their level is known how high they are from the earth. So these are just the Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, then you go up. And Pitris come, then Indra's planet. So these are called Upadeva, means the small devas. But they are very powerful fighters. So they came out from their city, not able to tolerate the conch sound. He said, how dare somebody can blow the conch here near our city. So they all had weapons in their hand, and they attacked immediately. Satana patato vira ugradhanva maharatha ekekam yugpat sarvan ahanbane stribhi. So when Dhruva, he saw them coming, running and attacking him, so he responded with his terrible bow, and he shot 3 arrows at each one of them. Everybody got 3. So this was very wonderful act he did. Tevai lalat lagnis tairishubhi sarvevihi matva nirastam atmanam ashansan karma tasya tat. So when they saw this, that everybody has got 3 arrows on their head, they were very surprised, and they all praised Dhruva. Well done, well done. So although they are enemies, but they also praise. It's like if you have some music festival and some musician is singing, then other musicians also say wow wow. Karte na? Or if there is a assembly of the poets, and the poets they recite their poetry, then all other poets on the stage will say wow wow. So like this they realize that this guy is very great hero, because so quickly he hit every one of them. And not 1 arrow but 3 of them. And this of course incited their anger also to fight back. Tepi chamum mrishyantah padasparshamivolagaha Sarairavidhyan yugpad dvigunam prachikirshavah. So they also responded, and they were just like as if a snake has been hit by foot. If the snake is walking on the ground and you kick the snake with your foot, then snake immediately gets angry. So they were angry like the snake, and they were unable to tolerate this chivalry of Dhruva. So in response to that, they released 6 arrows each at him, each one of them. So they wanted to double. But you are sending 3, we will give you 6. This was the response. ततः परिघन निस्त्रिंसै प्रासशूल परस्वधै शक्तिवृष्टिभिर्भुषुण्डिभिश्चित्रवाजै शरैरपि. So now there were big fight between them. These are various types of weapons, clubs and tridents and Shakti, different types of arrows, bhusundis like cannon, you throw with that. So different types of arrows, axes, Vrishti, Bhusundi, Pasha, Trishul, Khadaga, swords, Parigha. So releasing with each other. Abhyavarsan prakupitaha saratham sahasaраthim icchantastat pratikartum mayutani trayodasha. So at that time he was completely covered by this Abhyavarsan prakupita. There were this yakshas, there were 13,000 in number, and they all attacked him simultaneously. So from all sides there were different types of weapon, and he was totally covered by it. Ottanupadi sa tada shastravarshena bhurina naupadrishyat channa asarena yathagiri. So just like the mountain can get covered by heavy rain, like that he was covered by the rain of weapons. No one was able to see him, whether he is alive or dead. Hahakarastadevasir siddhanam divi pashyatam hatoyam manava suryo magnay punyajanarnave. So at that time there was big hahakar. Alas, this human being has been killed by the yakshas, just like the sun setting in an ocean. So this is what the siddhas are above them. So they were watching this battle from the sky, because this was such a unusual battle. So they all came down and they were looking at it. Nadatsu yatu dhaneshu jayakashishvatho mridhe uditashthadarathastasya niharadeva bhaskara. So but Dhruva, he did not give up like that. So when these devatas in the sky, they were speaking like this, then all the yakshas, they started resounding like lions in the battlefield, as if announcing their victory. So then suddenly Dhruva's chariot, he appeared. It's like the sun comes out from the fog. Dhanu vispurjayam divyam dushatam khedamudvahan astrogham vyadham adbane ghanani kamiva nilahan. So then he started fighting again now, and he took out his divine bow and it made a sound with that which was very terrifying to the enemies. And then he showered arrows, various types of weapons, and just as the wind disperses the cloud, like that he dispersed all of them. He shot so many arrows. Tasya te chapa nirmukta bhitva varmani rakshasam kayan avesho stigma giri nashnayo yatha. So these arrows which were shot from his bow, they were piercing the kavacha, armor of these yaksha and rakshas and entering into their body. Just like Indra, he has his thunderbolt and he breaks the mountains. So like that his arrows were so sharp. Bhallai sanchidya mananam sirobhischaru kundalaihi urubhir hematalabhe dorbhi valyavalgubhi. So said that Vidura at that time the beautiful earrings which were decorating the heads of the yakshas, they were all falling on the ground, being cut off by the arrows of Dhruva. So just like you cut potatoes in the kitchen, sometimes you have seen this expert cook, how quickly they cut. You cannot even see their finger moving, right? They do it so fast. So like that he was shooting arrows so fast that beautiful heads were chopped off from the bodies and blood was flowing. So you can just envision the beauty. This is called the Kshatriya beauty. You know this famous philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche? He was German, right? So he made a statement. He said that when I see the army marching with their weapons shining in the sun, this gives me the feeling of God, or some divine feeling. So Kshatriya's vision of beauty is different.
Blood.
Yes. So their arms, which were decorated with the bracelets, they were getting cut and falling down like banana trees. And they had very beautiful headgears, diadems, crowns. So they were all falling down and they were very attracted to the heroic people. So I said that this battlefield was looking so beautiful. He says this. He says, Ranubhuvo Rejur Veer Manohara. Manohara, you know, which attracts the mana, the mind. And Reju means shining. So it looks so nice. It's like in the spring there are flowers all around. And plants like that, these heads falling here and there. Arms, ornaments. So Astrita. Har Keyuri Muktai Rushni Sai Mahadhanai. All these very expensive necklaces and bracelets, anklets, earrings, all strewn around on this land was making it look so nice. So then what happened now? They will start running from here. So they started running. Hatavasishta itare ranagirat rakshogana kshatriya varyasayakaihi prayo vivrikna veva vividrudu mrigendra vikrita yuthapaiva. There are various types, different types of poetry, and the poetry is written in different rasa. You know, like there is Madhurya rasa, Dasa rasa, Sakhya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Sringar rasa, and there is also Veera rasa. right? Heroic rasa. So poetry which is written in the heroic rasa is like this. So because Bhagavatam says Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, that this is the ocean of rasas. So there are all types of rasas which are described here. So this is the Veer rasa. You have to also understand that. Like when Krishna is fighting with the demons, then there is the Veer rasa. So here the devotee is fighting with these people who killed his brother. This is the Veer rasa. So those who have the bhava, heroic, then their rasa becomes excited by hearing this. They become fired up. So if somebody has to go on the battlefield, then these are the type of stories you have to read before going on. Then your blood pressure goes up. So then you can fight nicely. So this is one type of rasa. So those people who were not killed, many were killed because their heads were falling left and right like potatoes. So those who were not killed and whose limbs were pierced by the arrows of Dhruva, they started running away from there. Just like when there is a battle between a lion and elephant. You see this? Sometimes a fight between lion attacks a herd of elephants. So how then the elephants started running? So lion is small and elephants, they are big, but he jumps on them and pounces and tears off their forehead, and the elephants also fight. You can see this in some Indian movies. So then these people, they were running from the battlefield. Prayo vivrikna avyava, and their limbs were cut. Somebody lost their arm, somebody lost their leg. So now they are running away. So after that what happened? You don't run away. स्वपश्यमान स तदा ततायनम महामृधे कंचन मानवोत्तमः पुरुन्दिदृक्षन्नपि नाविशद्विषां न मायिनां वेद चिकीर्षितं जनः. So at that time what happened, that he did not see anybody. Says, what is this? Says everybody ran away. There was nobody in front of him. At that time he desired that I should go into this city of Alkapuri, to the city of Yaksha, and have a round, see this beautiful city he had not seen. But he did not know, he did not go because he knew that these people, they have magical powers and they can play some tricks. So he did not enter. And therefore he told to his driver that it will be difficult, what can they do? So he sat in his own chariot, remaining alert what the enemy is going to do. Iti bruvans chitra ratha susarthim yatta paresham pratiyog shankitah sushrava shabdam jaladheri veritam navasvato dikshurajavan vadrishyata. Because he knew that these people are not going to sit quietly, but they will come back, and now they are going to use their magical powers, Indrajal. So he sat there remaining very alert. Then he suddenly heard a big sound, just like the roaring of the ocean or the sound of a storm. And he saw that all around there was dust coming, as if there was a big storm. Nabasvato dikshu rajavan dashya. Because these yakshas, now they are creating their maya, illusory fight will start. This is another type of fight. So what did they do? क्षणेन आच्छादितं व्योम घनानीकेन सर्वतः विस्फुरत्तडिता दिक्षु त्राशयत्तं स्तनयुत्नुना. In a moment, the whole sky got filled with the clouds, and all around there was a sound of thundering of the clouds, and there was lightning in the sky. So suddenly everything was covered. And then there was heavy rain. Vagrishu rudra Srikapi Yovinumutra Medasaha Nipute Gaganadasya Kabandhanya Gritonaga. Then there was a heavy rain, but it was a very special rain. Instead of water falling down, rainwater, there was blood coming down.
Just like gardens, Babaji.
And then there was cough, which comes from the nose. And then there was a pus, then something rots. And then there was also stool falling from the sky and urine. So there was urine and stool therapy simultaneously. Everybody got urine bath. And then there was also fat and meat falling down from the sky. And then there were bodies falling without head. With the torsos. So this is what they created. Tataha khe drishyata girir nipetu sarvato disham gada pariya nishvansa musla sasma varshina. Then what happened that this stopped, and then there was a big mountain seen in the sky. Have you seen a mountain in the sky? And this mountain fell down. So all around there were stones falling. There was a rain of stones. And then there was clubs, swords, all these things falling from the sky. Then the next one. Ahayo asni niswasa vamanto agniru sakshibhihi abhyadhavan gajamatta singha vyagra shriyuthasaha. So then this one stopped. Then he saw that there were snakes falling from the sky, and all of them were hissing and looking at you with angry eyes, and they are going to swallow you. And then there were elephants falling from the sky, and lions and tigers. Now they are trying to protect tigers in India. In that time there was a reign of tigers. Instead of protecting, they would like to kill them. So many of them. So one after another, the tiger is falling from the sky. It's better than urine. At least it's good to look at. Even if he's going to kill you, you enjoy the beauty of the tiger. Tiger is quite beautiful and it's peaceful. Samudra urmi bhima plaven sarvato bhuvam asasada mahahrada kalpantaya bhishana. And then what happened? There was a tsunami after everything. So it says there was big waves of the ocean and drowning everything in water. That's what we call tsunami now. So tsunamis have been coming since that time. This is not the first time that tsunami has come. So it was just like as if it is time for the dissolution and the whole earth is going to be submerged in water. There was a big sound. 70, 80, 90 feet high water wave was coming. Maybe more because this was mountain. Evam vidhani anekani trasani anya manasvinam sasrijustigmagatayaha asuriya maya asura. So in this way, these people, they created their maya, which was very terrifying for common people. And all the people who were cowards, they got completely terrified by this, seeing all this. But Dhruva, nothing happened to him. So Dhruva. Dhruve prayuktam suraistam mayamati dustaram nisamyatasya muniya samasansan samagataha. So Dhruva, he did not feel any influence of this maya. So all the sages, when they heard, they well wished him. And this is what they said. Muniya uchu Vatan pade bhagavan tava sarni dhanva devekshinotti tavarntarti haro vipakshan yannamdhem abhidaya nisamya chadha lokon satarati dustaramanya mrityum. They said that, O Dhruva, the son of Uttanpad, he says that Lord Narayana, who holds the Saranga in his hand, and he removes the fear of those who take shelter of him, may he kill your enemies. Says that the Lord's name is such that anyone who hears and chants it transcends death easily, not to speak of any other thing. So this is the end of this chapter, which basically describes the fighting of Dhruva with the Yakshas. So the idea behind this is that Dhruva is a devotee, and all these Yaksha, Rakshasas and all this Maya, these are the obstacles which can come in the life of a devotee. So as Dhruva's name suggests, he remains fixed. So devotion is not disturbed by anything external. Ahetuki apratihata. Devotion is called apratihata. There is nothing which can disturb the devotion. Dhruva not becoming disturbed by any of this means that devotee's devotion is not disturbed, means he never gives it up. Because giving up devotion is the greatest disturbance. Every other disturbance is lesser than that. So one does not give up something if by giving up one will be more disturbed. Suppose you are going on a motorcycle and then someone says you give up motorcycle and sit in the car, but you know that this car is more disturbing. You are peacefully going on your motorbike, but the car's tires are flat. So and you are in the Indian roads. So better you go in your bike without problem than having a flat tire on the Indian road. So why go for bigger trouble? So bhakti, a devotee is never so disturbed that he will give up his devotion. Nothing deviates a devotee. That's why Krishna says, Kantaya pratijanahi name bhakta pranasyati. That he declares that my devotee never perishes. So perishing is not only physical, it's shown here physically because that we can understand. But real thing is in the mind. That his mind is never deviated. Body of course is temporary, will go sooner or later. But his consciousness is never disturbed by anything external. Always remains fixed. And this is what the Munis also said. When they are blessing him, this is the meaning. So this is the message of this. Otherwise one will say that why again this, like yesterday this devotee was asking, waste of time. why this description, whole chapter for this. Maybe the point in reading this. So this shows how a devotee is firm. It does not mean that devotee will not face problems. He will face problems, but he is not moved by that. So I'll stop here.
Question about this different type of rain. So, practically speaking, they are all illusions.
Yeah. All types of illusions which can come in our life also. So we have to learn how to discriminate. So these are various types of mentalities. Tiger mentality, snake mentality, elephant mentality, stool mentality also there. So these are the various types of mentalities you will meet in your life. So don't become disturbed by that. Continue your fight. As Krishna says, Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Therefore, at all times, you remember me and fight. So that's what is being shown.
Will it become sometimes too much fight? Then
No problem. You become strong by fighting. So it's also shows that how he was not destroyed by any of these things. Otherwise one arrow can cut his head also. It's not that he was made of iron or something. But all these snakes, elephants, tigers, stones falling on his head, nothing was able to kill him. He was totally covered by this. So the stones will hit on his head and bump off and fall down and break. Instead of his head breaking, the stones were breaking. Okay, very well.